Alrighty, and we are back live with our final matchup of the evening. We have on the left-hand side Reborn Knights versus Toilet League 6 on the right. I think I said that twice actually. I'm sorry. It's been a long day for me. On the left, we have Reborn Knights Black versus on the right Toilet League 6. I probably said it twice the same way, knowing myself, but oh well. I forgot to change my cursor size too. It's a little embarrassing. So, going into this though, we are going into Tomb of the Spider Queen. What are they going to ban out here first? The Genji isn't bad, but the Ariel ban, I'm wondering if it's just to prevent the potential Cho'Gall. No one really wants to deal with that, to be honest. The Ariel ban it's not a bad idea. If you are afraid that the Cho'Gall is going to make an appearance here, just if you get rid of it, it really... The way that he just replenishes her hope bar is too powerful, and so it really needs to be taken out right out of the bat. So maybe... I'm just going to call them Knights. It's just going to be shorter and easier for the matchup. Knights is going to have... maybe they have a Cho'Gall, comp that they typically play against this team, or they've seen it or something. I don't know. KT's also banned out here because of the fact that he's a strong laner here for the clear on the 4-man rotations. Now, Malthael being picked up here. Even though the Ariel was banned out, Cho'Gall is still technically, you can still pick him. So the Malthael just really kind of solidifies the fact that it's like, I'm a counter to Cho'Gall. Unless they're tricking us and they're going to pick up Cho'Gall themselves because, we played, well, I was going to say we still had Ariel though. I was about to say, we played a Cho'Gall. I played a Cho'Gall game over the weekend, but I had an Ariel and I also played Rhaegar and I just hit the R button anytime the Cho'Gall got low. That was my job. So, So first pick Malthael, then we're going to be having a double pick of Stukov and Vala here. I really like the Stukov for I feel like he works extremely well on this map. I've been seeing him a lot. This is the third time I'm casting this map tonight, and I definitely think he's extremely strong on a map like this because of the fact there's a lot of rotational points, and they are small enough that with that level 1 talent of the expanded area, he definitely is a force to be reckoned with because it forces teams to rotate in a different manner than they planned on, which throws off the speed, the rotation, the fluidity, and synergy of your team. So I think Stukov, he creates a kind of a speed bump on this map. And then Vala just overall just extremely good, just high damage, high sieging character. I mean, a Vala played right is a Vala I fear. But going into... Toilet League 6's second and third pick, they're going to go ahead and get the Uther and a Nubrek. So this leaves their comp very open. They have the Malthael, which counters a lot of high healthful heroes, and then we have the Uther and a Nubrek as just a strong tank and healer combo. Now, on the side of Knights, Reborn Knights Black. I guess I can say it now because I have the time. I don't have to kind of say it really quickly in a match. Ban phase here, they're going to want to maybe eliminate a strong solo laner. So maybe getting rid of the Greymane here, unless they plan on taking it themselves, would be a viable ban. I'm trying to just think of other people that they can run with this. I don't think they're going to pick up Rhaegar. They don't need both of those healers. I'm trying to just think of just other solo laners that can really work well with this. Sonya's still viable. Dahaka's an option, but he's just... The map's not really big enough to warrant him. I think Sonya over Dahaka, maybe. Lunara's going to be banned out, and she's actually a strong ban here because she does make very fast rotations, and the poison damage might be a little bit much for Stukov. I don't know. The Arthas is being hovered here, and that's a strong ban because Arthas is an extremely strong solo laner, and I've recently kind of, just been talking to a lot of people about this, and my consensus from just the discussions is Arthas actually, even though he kind of came out of nowhere, like, not a lot of people play him as much, at least in just the kind of games I see. I try not to consider Pro League because it's a whole different, even just sport in a way. The Arthas, though, strong ban because he is a solo laner, but the Diablo is being hovered here as well. And Diablo's still a viable option because, as I was saying on this map, the tight choke points would be a wonderful place for Diablo to get a lot of those charge into stun into walls. So then you can get the charge stun, then you have that wall stun, I believe, which is a little bit more, and then you have the overpower, which is just another one. So they're actually going to be banning out the Tassadar. And I believe the Tassadar was banned out because he one, is a solo laner in the sense, and two, he pairs well with the Vala with, I believe it's Life Leech at 4. And so he really, like an auto attacker, really benefits from him. So they're going to go into the Zarya and the Sylvanas. And the Zarya actually, I really like the Zarya here. They're focusing, it looks like, around a strong push. I honestly, on the side of Knights, I would not be too surprised to potentially. Well, let's talk about Toilet League 6's draft. So there's the Greymane that we had talked about. They need a ranged assassin, and so one of the things I was going to note for Knights draft is that they could pick up Gul'dan, a strong wave clear, but at the same time, picking up an off tank might be a useful thing to have for your team, just for a little bit more of that upfront, frontline damage that you can absorb. Arthas is still available, so I'm wondering if they got off the Arthas because they knew maybe this late they could potentially pick him up. So it was maybe a calculated risk on their end on who they would take as their first tank. And I was assuming that it was going to be a melee assassin, but it's a Sylvanas, so maybe they'd be taking just the solo tank Zarya. So they're going to be going into Li Ming. So really critical that Toilet League 6 definitely gets a lot of kills, because getting the kills from the Greymane dive will give Li Ming the reset she needs to confirm follow-up damage and follow-up kills onto Reborn Knights Black. Now, granted, she can't do anything if Stukov has her silenced. And then Vala, with a shield, can dive into the backline, empower Zarya, which would also give her more damage. And even then, with the Expulsion Zone or Graviton Surge, I mean, those are still options. The Expulsion Zone provides a little bit more utility towards the team in separating and peeling members apart. So these are actually, if they get the kills, Toilet League 6 has the team. They have this match. But it seems like they're going to be separating and picking apart Toilet League 6 on the side of Reborn Knights Black. This is going to be a very interesting match. I think I'm gonna, in my opinion, if they can get the kills, no. The Entomb is what I'm thinking about. The Entomb into the Expulsion Zone with the Wailing Arrow, the stun, the silence. If they can pull it off, Reborn Knights Black has this game. But if they can, I know I'm not making a decision here technically, but I'm also kind of leaning towards the Toilet League 6 draft. Like, I want to pick a team. Overall, though, realistically, actually giving an opinion about this, I believe that Reborn Knights Black had the better draft. But on the left-hand side, we are going to have Reborn Knights Black with the Pie Maker on Vala, Zodek on Stukov, Crafty Devil on Sylvanas, Subway Slayer on Zarya, and Glover on Leoric. On the right-hand side, we are going to have Toilet League 6 with Chaos on Anubarak, Illahilde on Uther, Yellowskin on Malthael, Hilde on... Little Hildy on Uther, Yellowskin on Malthael, Hildy on Li Ming, and Jildy on Greymane. Excuse me, Julian. I kind of had... I had to, swallow, breathe, and say something at the same time. Oh, all right. Thank you, Twitch chat. I will try to refer to them as RK Black. So here we go into the first game on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Oh, we're just waiting on Mr. Crafty Devil or Mrs. Crafty Devil. Who knows? Okay. While the Crafty Devil loads in. Alright, there we go. I was going to say we can talk about some of the talents and some of the ultimates, but that will not be needed. We'll save that for 10. Alrighty, so going into this, Malthael will be the one hero I'm not too sure about because I don't know enough about Malthael. So there's going to be the increased range on the strike there. I played him before, just trying to like test out multiple different builds, and it seems like the best build is around diving into heroes as well as the Tormented Souls. So like having that ability to like dive deep for the Tormented Souls and just sit there and just constantly just deal out a lot of damage. Because of the fact that if you just run that 5-man. But it looks like we are going to have Leoric baiting them out a little bit here, and a big old cheese is going to be happening in top lane with that Sylvanas. So this is some old stuff. I remember when I used to play Chair League a couple of years ago. That was like my first ever time on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We got stomped, and that was what they did against us too. They took out an entire gate before we responded. So looks like we're going to have our Malthael laning in bottom. We are going to be having this 4-man in top. I'm wondering if as they rotate down, Leoric will push down as well, if that's what it looks like. But at the same time, Malthael does a lot of damage to high health heroes, so I'm wondering if this matchup is going to be a little difficult. Let's just stay up here in top, though, for the meantime. I'll try and keep an eye on health pools here if I see Leoric going to be falling. But at this point, we are going to be having Greymane just getting his cocktail in. Nubrak will be getting a dive forward. There will be these shields onto the Vala, which will fill up the Zarya, and that will be getting the first kill of the game for RK Knights, or RK Black, and they will be getting this gate wall. Now Leoric in bottom. Are we going to have a disengage here? Are we going to have... I want to go check bottom really quick and see how the matchup's working out, because it looks like health pools have been pretty much the same down there. But at the same time, they are just pushing so hard in this top lane, and they're forcing a response. There's basically saying, RK Black is saying, if you want this tower, you have to stay in top with us. We're not going to let you go. And this is a really, really interesting force that they've pulled off, because the Stukov just can really just sit there and place the pathogens on so many people, and Nubrak dove in with so little health and is going to be eliminated. This is going to be the healing while falling here, and at this point we are going to be having Greymane rotating into mid, trying to get some of that experience into the rest of the team. Thank you for the host, by the way, Hirokoso. And so this is going to be the first tower falling in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Now there is this counter engage, but it looks like with the 4-man currently here and the Uther just so low, they will not be able to counter this too well. And I would not be too surprised to honestly see them regroup and try and kind of push into mid at this point, because it looks like they're kind of just... RK Black is just controlling the map at this point. They're saying, this is, you know, this is how we're going to run the lanes. If you want to respond to them, you can. We are going to have them rotating into bottom. Malthael is extremely low on mana, so I think they're going to be able to take advantage of that here. There is about a level gap experience at this point. Greymane is trying to soak up the mid. Meanwhile, Uther and Li Ming are going to be trying to push back that Leoric, but at this point they just swap the lanes top for bottom. Malthael is going to be hearthing at this point. They are going to be confirming another gate, and this is just such a strong push that they put on together on RK Black. At this point, potentially, without the 7s, they could go in for a flank here. Uther is extremely low. He should have gone back before this. There is going to be the shield onto the Sylvanas. She is the low one, but she will be able to get out fine. Greymane is a little far forward from his team at this point. He will be getting killed. And that will be... Okay, I was wondering if the Zarya was going to get a couple of these grenades off onto the Uther. Anub'arak will be diving forward, getting the burrow and the stun combo onto the Sylvanas, but it will be countered. I believe that was a little late. I think Uther already died. Anyways, Leoric will be pushing the wave up, and this is I think this is exactly what they got Leoric. He basically can die in lane and just keep pushing up. So if they do get a kill with the Malthael, he can just literally pop right back into the same spot and keep laning. And so all that he's doing is just laning and laning and laning. And this is going to be the first turn in, and these guys are... RK Black is just putting on a clinic for Tomb of the Spider Queen right now. They are just pushing into Toilet League 6 extremely hard. Now, they are responding into top lane, and Leoric is going into bottom. The reason they did this is because they got the fort already. So they want to try and get as much value out of these web weavers as possible. So while this web weaver is spawning, because it is the slowest mechanic in the game, let's just take in some of these talents really quick. Uther's actually over halfway through his first level talent. Now, Anub'arak did dive forward, so he did get the stun up. They are starting to come back a little bit here. Li Ming is poking at them as best as she can from the distance, trying to get them to kind of back up, but there is the silence zone from the Stukov, which is completely zoning away Toilet League 6. And RK Black is just pushing and pushing and pushing. Now, Leoric is in bottom currently, and he's just annihilating that fort. And with that dive, though, Anub'arak will get a little bit of stun, and the Li Ming will follow up for some damage. But unfortunately, Anub'arak won't be getting any kills with that. And now the Malthael goes in really deep. He doesn't have any follow-up damage because there is no Tormented Soul, so he will be falling here, as well as the Uther, and that is going to be the Anub'arak as well. And it looks like they're going to be attempting to go on this keep, and now with the Sylvanas, they have every option to do that. I'm trying to keep up and talk about map mechanics and rotations, but I can't even because they just push so hard. They get the Pathogen onto the Grim, and he will be slowed, but he will be making it out just fine. Li Ming is going to be trying to push back as much as she can here, but all she can do is a little bit of poke damage, and that is going to be the first keep in 5 minutes and 58 seconds.
Deliver the gems to my altar before your enemies.
All right, so at this point, we are going to see RK Black going in on this boss. Now, with their 11 talents, they can easily kind of take any fight that they want. Even if Toilet League 6 comes in here for this, they don't have their ultimate, so this might be a death sentence. They do scout it out. They know it's there. They throw out some stuns, but at this point, they have to give it up. Otherwise, they're just kind of staggering deaths before a boss march up into their top lane. So the priority on top lane is because of the fact that it is the boss lane. So the best lane that you always want to push your top lane as much as possible, due to the fact that if you do get this momentum behind you. Now, these guys are just doing something ridiculous. I've never even seen this before. They got the Entomb. There is the Expulsion Zone to zone away the team, and that will be another kill. And this is what I was talking about if they can get the Entombs. But even then, like, I didn't even expect them to just literally push in to one fort for the first 2 minutes and then just get a fort, and then, you know, at 5 minutes get a keep. So this is going to be a 7-minute game, 8-minute game, and extreme just amazing control on the side of RK Black. GG, well played. All right, and for our second map of the evening, we will be going into Towers of Doom. On the left-hand side, we have Reborn Knights Black, or as I hear they like to be called, RK Black. And on the right-hand side, we have Toilet League 6, who like to be called Toilet League 6. Right away, they're going to go ahead and ban out the Kael'thas. They do not want to deal with him right now. So, what are they going to ban out on the side? Oh, they're going to actually ban out the Vala right away. Very interesting. And they right away go into the Malthael. This is a quick draft. Oh my god. I can't even just theorize or even talk about the draft. So, Malthael picked up on the side of RK Black. into a Stitches and Stukov combo. Now the hook into the silence, it's kind of interesting. In Towers of Doom, a map where you can't really just force a rotation into the core. You have to win the game by actually completing the objective on the map. So I'm wondering, they're going to want to take something that forces team fights. Now I'm wondering, on the side of Arcade Black, what do you take here? They already picked up the okay. They're going to pick up double healer. I'm trying to like theorize a bunch of stuff, and then like right away they just lock in something. These guys are just burning through the draft. So the Tassadar Uther, an extremely strong combo, but that means that they're going to be picking up a solo tank. Because I don't think they're going to be running their Malthael as their solo assassin. I don't see that as being plausible at this point. You're going to need some sort of high damage burst hero. So maybe like doing a Greymane with that as well. Because if you have the Greymane diving in, you can give the D shield to Greymane. You've got the Tassadar shielding for Malthael if he does go in as well. Greymane makes sense on the side of Arcade Black. But then again, they picked up a weird comp, at least to me, and just completely pushed in so hard with it. Genji's going to be banned out here on the side of Toilet League 6. Just a nuisance in most games. So banning out Genji here is a strong thing to do here. And the Varian's going to be banned out as well. He works as a secondary tank because the taunt is really strong here, but I wonder if they have something in mind that the Varian doesn't. It just counter synergizes. So they're going to go ahead and actually pick up Chromie and Sylvanas on the side of Toilet League 6. Chromie really good on this map because of the long-range pokes. Sylvanas really good for the solo pushing into the towers. The more you cap these towers, the more points you can shoot against the enemy core. So that's going to be extremely strong with the Sylvanas. And Stukov as well really has a lot of good zoning. And zoning on this map, just like the one we were just on, is very important. If you're zoning the team away from an altar, from engaging, you can separate the team. And then if you see them starting to split off, you can really capitalize with that Chromie, the hook from Stitches to pull members in. I mean, you can combo the Chromie combo into the Stitches hook, and that's a really devastating blow that you can take to people. They're still at 0-0. I feel like that isn't true. You are correct. I am so sorry. It appears that the website did not update. I will go ahead and do that. It should automatically. There it goes. My asset is now updated. So we're in round 2. Let me go ahead and. I can't start round 2 because people haven't updated. But this is what I was actually going to start talking about. Tracer. I was reading Twitch chat way too long. But I did update the score, so that should be updated on the Chair League border in my bottom left. So the Tassadar pick, in my opinion, was a little evident that they were going to go into the Tracer, mostly because of the fact that Vala was banned out, and it seems to be the synergy that you'd go with. Tassadar does also provide extremely good vision for points when you're going in for the altars, so overall, the side of Arcade Black is just well-rounded and well-versed. It's extremely hard to, I think, pick this apart unless people are overstepping their abilities. Like Malthael. If Malthael dives in way too far and there's no Uther or Tassadar with a creepy dog face to shield him or give him healing or give him any sort of stun to stun an enemy hero so he has an out, like that's what I mean by extending too far. But if they stick together tight-knit and play safe, that's a very fearful team. But at the same time, they're going to go ahead and pick up a Cassia on the side of Toilet League 6. Now, this leaves a solo Stukov healing. Chromie should be fine in the back line. Sylvanas shouldn't be up too far forward. It's really the Stitches that you have to worry about. You have to make sure that the healing pathogen is definitely getting to him, as well as spreading to some of the members. The lineups aren't too far spread apart where you wouldn't get the pathogen onto every member, but then again, it's just one of the things you have to make sure that you definitely take care of. All right, so going into game number 2 here, we have on the left-hand side Arcade Black with the Pie Maker on Tracer, Zedek on Uther, Subway Slayer on Muradin, Glover on Tassadar, and Crafty Devil on Malthael. On the right-hand side, we have Toilet League 6 with Chaos on Stitches, Hildy on Chromie, Yellowskin on Cassia, Little Hildy on Stukov, and Julian on Sylvanas. And thanks to Twitch chat for calling out my scoreboard to be wrong, because I honestly did not notice. So thank you again. Glad that you guys are on it better than I am. Hopefully the maps are updating. Let's see if I can just really quick fix this. Yes. All right. I'm going to be silent here for a second. I'm just going to update the website because if in case you didn't know this, you need to select the players you're going to play each match, and so if you don't, it won't let me start round 2, which won't show the map. So let me just scroll and hit play. All right, that should be round 2, but I don't think I'm allowed to start it. Hold on. Crafty Devil, he's playing. So there we go. That should be enough to start round 2. It's not, but I believe the asset should update. So we are going into this map. Perfect timing. I got everything going. So here we go into game number 2. We already see a hook coming straight out from Stitches. Murden is able to use his Dwarf Puff to get out. There is a Chromie Dragon Breath onto him, but it is pretty early, so it's not going to be too powerful. We are going to see actually Chromie going into... Thank you so much. We are actually going to be seeing Chromie going into the Dragon's Breath build. And so that is going to be extremely powerful into the late game here. She's going to be getting extremely just the artillery that Chromie provides in this map is very, very strong, and the range she has for the poke onto these altars is going to be something that we really need to be concerned about. Now, in the top wave, we are having the Sylvanas up against the Muradin, and in bottom, we're going to have the Malthael versus the Stitches. Now, in the last match, I was talking about Malthael versus the... drawing a blank, Leoric. There we go. And saying it's going to be a hard match because of the fact that Leoric is a high health pool hero. So I'm curious to see, now that literally the shoe's on the other foot, how that is going to affect the game. So with this laning matchup currently, we're just going to go take a peek in bottom. And it looks like Malthael's really pushed into this bottom extremely hard. In top, we do have the Sylvanas versus the Muradin, so this is going to be kind of a tough push for Muradin. He doesn't really have a lot of good tools for pushing against the Sylvanas. Now, the Tassadar pairs well with the Tracer, but unfortunately, we've got 2 healers in the mid, and this might not be the best utility for both those healers. Now, this isn't early. The phase starts pretty quickly, so the laning matchups, there isn't too much going on to this, and I'm so sorry. I just looked at the mini-map, and I saw that there was the Tracer getting chased down, so that is going to be the first kill of the game, going over to Arcade Black. Now, on the right-hand side, so they are getting extremely aggressive here. Uther is capping the point on this left-hand side. There's a Pulse Bomb already under the Cassia. And so it looks like the Chromie is getting a lot of that poke out like we had talked about, but at the same time, Tassadar is putting so much out himself. In bottom, we are seeing the Malthael and the Stitches going up against each other. I don't want to go down there, but I see Stitches' health falling extremely fast, but there is a huge silence against Arcade Black right now. They are pushing extremely far into this, almost into the shots of death range. Chromie is trying to get a blast out. Uther will body the Sand Blast. This is going to get canceled out by the Stukov negative ability. That is going to be the Cassia falling as well. Malthael is going to be capping that midpoint. They are going to be contesting this other point. Looks like they're going to be leaving it with this for the time being. I don't know if they're going to be poking or going in. Muradin does jump in. Subway Slayer is in quite deep by himself. There is low mana on him. Tracer does have some blinks to get out, so she should be able to take this. And it looks like they were just trying to buy a little bit more time for their Malthael to push into the wave. So that is going to be 4 shots confirmed against Arcade Black. Okay. So, in bottom, we do have the Malthael, who is pushing in quite far. He's going to go ahead back off tap as well. The Sand Trap goes out onto the Tracer. The hook is almost there, but she shouldn't be your priority. You got to get someone who doesn't have 3 blinks to get right out of a hook. In top, we do have the Murden going up against Sylvanas, and this is going to be... He's got a lot of health to push in against her, but at the same time, this is going to be a hard push for her. So, we are having a flank from the Uther and the Tracer. I think once Sylvanas shows up against the Murden, I think they're going to go in for this flank. So she's going to go in with the minion wave, make sure she's safe. I see the Tassadar is getting pushed back in mid, but I really want to see if this flank actually works out. So here we go, 3v1. There's the initial stun, and that is going to be a confirmed kill. Stukov is going to rotate top at this point. It is going to be late, but it's going to be for the XP soak. Tassadar did get pushed back into his gates, and he did take a little bit of damage, but that honestly was worth it because of the fact that the other two got the pick. Now, on the side of Toilet League 6, they definitely should have... I was gonna say they should have noticed that there was a couple people missing in their mid lane. So with them hiding, that Sylvanas kind of went out and just got caught out by this the stun from the Murd. I think it was just the stun from the Uther. Maybe there was a stun from Murden that just locked him down even longer. So we are going to be having the second altar phase here. It is going to be a single in bottom, so this is going to be contested. But there is already a stun and push back onto the Chromie. She will get a little bit of artillery out. We already have a hook onto the Malthael. Does he have an out? Okay, so he will be just fine. Murden will be using his jump to get in. He's going to get a double stun off. There is a Tracer pulse round onto the Cassie, and she will be falling here. The Chromie is not going to be able to poke this down, so they will be taking another 4 points of damage against their core. Excuse me. Tracer is taking a significant amount of damage, but she will be able to blink out, bait out some of those basic abilities, so that way the cooldowns are triggered, and they're going to go ahead and just rotate back while Malthael pushes up this wave a little bit more. With that okay. Oof. Not Tracer, Tassadar. Too many T's, too many games that casted today. So we are going to have the mid wave getting pushed in just a little bit here, but at this point we are going to have the Malthael coming in to also help out the Tassadar. And excuse me, I'm sorry, I missed that. In bottom, we're going to be having this capped by RK Black. It looks like Stukov and Sylvanas were trying to get this camp, but unfortunately they got picked out by the enemy team. So at this point, we are having 10s already on the side of RK Black. So let's just check into some of those talents. While the next altar phase is getting ready, we should be seeing that quite soon. Uther looks like he's about over halfway through his. Tassadar should be completing his as well soon. The hook does go out onto the Uther, but there is no follow-up damage, unfortunately. The slowing sands is there, but there is no one running through it yet. It's going to be a useful talent when we get to this next phase right here, where we actually have an ability. So they're going to go ahead and put down the slowing sand to see the rotations. Now this is a decent spot, but a little bit further out might be beneficial to them, as well as the fact that leaving this here the entire time is slowly burning down Chromie's mana. So having this out without there being any engagement is a little negative towards the team, because the fact that they could use in this team fight, there is the stun and the pulse round out. There will be Sylvanas falling. Tracer is going to be getting the follow-up kill as well. And that is going to be the first altar going over to RK Black. Now they're going to be zoning down this bottom one. Chromie tried to get a little bit of a poke, but Tassadar went ahead and already shifted size, repositioned, and this will be another 4 shots confirmed on the core of Toilet League 6. At this point, we are going to see the the camp picked up, so that way it will rotate into bottom, push into that a little bit more, and that should give them the push power to potentially get... They're actually going to take this aggressive move here and go ahead and go on this camp as well. this is going to be pushing into this bottom wave. They want to confirm this bell tower and potentially even stagger these into... They're actually going to see the Stukov route, which will scout them out. There is a hook, but the Cassia does get the lightning ball out. There is a Gorge, I believe, onto the Malthael, who has the D-shield onto him. Does he have an ability to get out? There is the wall that is currently being burned down, but so is Malthael. Malthael gets mind-controlled by the Sylvanas. He does get cleansed at the last second, and this Malthael is going to die, unfortunately. That is the Uther falling as well. That is also going to be the Cassia falling too. The hook does go out, but it does not connect. That could have been tragic for the Tracer, because I don't think she had any more blinks, and that will be, I believe, Uther falling finally. Yes. So, Tracer will be hearthing here to get full on her mana. That will be a confirmed bell tower. So now, they did lose 2 members during that engagement, but it bought them a lot of time for all of those pumpkin sappers to push into that fort and confirm that. So now that will force a rotation out of Toilet League 6 into this bottom lane. And now that they all have to be here, unfortunately, it's not a top altar phase, so they are going to be right next to this. Now, they can burn this down quite quickly with that Sylvanas because of the fact that they have the lockdown. They're going to come in here and harass a little bit with this Tracer, but she is actually going to get gorged. I do not think they have the distance. Unfortunately, there's no Medivh to follow up. She's going to have the recall. Does she get the blink? And with the blink, she does actually get out the last second, but Murden is actually going to get mind-controlled into the slowing sands. There is the shove from the Stukov onto the Malthael, who will push him out of the way. Cassie is so extremely low. She's going to be able to live through this because of her trait from taking basic attack damage with just moving and shields. So this altar, with that pushback from the Stukov, Malthael is going to be going in onto this altar. There's a hook from the Stitches, not to also forget about the fact that Chromie got that poke, but we are going to see Sylvanas falling at this point. Tracer did get a pulse run onto the Stitches. He does walk through the slowing sands to try and get her away. Tracer is going to take a little bit of damage here. There is some shielding from Tassadar and some healing from the Uther, and that is going to be a crazy fight, and we're going to have the Cassia coming back in, and she will be falling as well. So that's going to be a 3 for maybe 2? I mean, that's a while ago, I think. I honestly don't remember. I just want to note that the Stukov and the slowing sands is the best animation ever. This camp will once again be picked up, and it looks like they're going to be walking this back into bottom lane. And they are also going to be going for this camp as well. So this is going to be 6 pumpkin sappers walking into this bottom. And that seems to be a common strategy on this map, is to really push into this bottom lane. Now, coming into this fight, the slowing stance is still there, so they cannot push into this too hard. They need to walk around that. Now, the hook is out. They try to combo it for the initial damage into the hook. Tassadar is going to get his little bit of damage out. The Pumpkin Sapper will make it through. They do have 3 more currently coming in. That is going to be Sylvanas. Cassia falling here. That is 2 more Pumpkin Sappers reaching the fort, and this is Tracer slowly melting down the Sylvanas, but the massive shove actually misses. The Gorge was there onto the Murden, but it did not work out. Malthael did go in with the Tormented Souls. He is on Sylvanas currently. She is currently a little bit low. The Mind Control is there onto the Murden, but she stands still, so Tracer just got to go ahead and melt her down. Now there is a Hearth from the Murden to get back to... The Slam comes out and blocks it. So Murden jumps right back in and gets a stun onto the Stukov, and they will confirm that kill as well. The hook is there onto the Murden. He does not go in for the third time? I don't know how many times they've already dumped in. So this is the 4th altar phase, I believe, which is, it's the 1st and 4th are 3 altars. Everything else in between is random. Because I think it actually is random between bottom and mid. I have to check into that. But either that, like, you can predict that the second phase is going to be bottom-ish. So we are going to have a slowing sands out here. There is a Gorge onto the Tracer. Murden does hop in. He gets the stun onto the... Oh my god, the Chromie. The Tracer blinking straight from the Gorge was insane to me, but Cassia did get a Lightning Ball out, and that will confirm the kill onto Tracer. Lightning Ball? Ball Lightning. Same thing. So there is going to be a huge stun. There is a massive shove from the Stukov. It's going to push them back, but the Tassadar will get hooked here. He's going to use his E to get out. There's a slam out to just stall this out a little bit here. It looks like Malthael will reposition. They're being hyper aggressive. There is a Mind Control out onto the Murden, but he gets out of it with I think the interrupt, and he gets his avatar out right away. That is going to be a channel, though, so that is going to be 1 point left on the core of Toilet League 6. Now, this is a huge fight. Malthael gets his Tormented Souls off, and then it's going to be the Sylvanas, or excuse me, the Stukov, and the Stitches, and the Cassia falling here, and this looks like it could be a boss to win? Yes. They are going to start it. Without the Stitches, the Cassia, the Stukov at this point, I really don't think they can contest this. So we are going to be having the boss melted? I'm just trying to like watch minimap and watch everything else at the same time. They're not coming into this. So, alright, this will be confirmed and GG, well played.